Okay, Sagittarius, let's do this. This is JJ. For your May 2017 tarot reading, you are the last sign I am reading for. I know. So if you still made it to my channel, despite delay, I'm very appreciative. Thank you, you guys. So you may have already watched like a million other readings from other readers. So thank you for being here. It's late. I'm tired. But very ready for this reading. Okay. Looks like you're going to have a similar spread like Libra did. Huh. This card, it's wreaking havoc on all the readings this month. Wreaking havoc, you guys. But always in tandem with another 10 card. In your case, it's the Wheel of Fortune, which is sure as hell is better than the 10 of Swords, or even the 10 of Cups to me. This is still so much better. So, what's going on in May? It seems to be a major month. We're talking about the completion of quite a few things. Educational pursuits, I'm getting the vibe here with this Empress card. And slightly before her, loads and loads of procrastination, despite knowing that putting things off is not going to get you where you need to be at all. But isn't it kind of like the natural way of things for us? We have to procrastinate to feel enough stress to convince ourselves that it's the right time to do something. Without that factor of procrastination, what's the point? There's no goddamn thrill of barely making it. No, but all jokes aside, because procrastination is not a good habit, right? So yeah, don't take my word for it. It's just that it just seems to be part of the human condition. So perhaps this will be a reading on discipline. How to discipline ourselves. And the thing is about you is that you know already that certain behaviors you engage in are not good for you. You know this, and yet you still do it. You can't seem to stop yourself. But that can also be because you also know that you're going to make it through. It's like saying you'll have that night out. You'll sacrifice a day of studying in favor of that night out, and you realize that it means you have to lose another night of sleep after that just to make up for it. Gotta live a little though, right? Hey, I'm not judging. I'm literally doing the same thing. I've neglected my responsibilities for the past week. Not entirely, but a lot of my responsibilities. Look at that. Cards don't want to come out anymore. I'm looking for 2 more cards. Ooh. Jeez. These are too many cards. I'm going to put them back. So I'm only looking for 2 more. The good news is that after this 10 of Wands, this burdensome feeling, you are liberated and literally start from scratch. It's pretty cool, actually, how the order of cards commences after this 10 of Wands, because you go from the 10 of Wands to the Fool card, and then this Magician card. It's like you're starting the tarot all over again, which is really nice. And then we have this 6 of Pentacles here. So you are able to have a good time for sure after dedicating a lot of time and effort into studying or working hard towards your work goals, for example, if you're not studying, or learning a new program, learning a new language, learning the roles of a new job responsibility, for example. I'm feeling quite confident and happy about things now. I picked them up in the reverse, so we'll read them in the reverse. Okay. Interesting, you guys. I'm going to lower the screen, show you the cards so you see what you're looking at, what I'm looking at here. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Definitely trust your gut. Okay, so you start off the month with a clear, decisive look at how your month is going to progress, perhaps. So there are some clearly defined things that need to happen in the month of May, some of which, yes, do involve this educational pursuit. Regardless of a lack of motivation you may feel to do this, it's almost like you have to force yourself to get certain tasks done here, although you know how important it is towards progression of your own growth here, in order to regain a certain quality in your life that may have been lacking. It's always good to learn something new, because that way you're engaging your brain in ways that it hadn't been exposed to before. It's reminding yourself how to learn something, to practice new habits. Well, they're not really habits actually until you practice them time and time again. So to practice a skill so that it becomes a habit and almost second nature. This tells me that for you, learning is never really over, even if you think that you're coming to an older age right now where it might not be it might not be common practice, for instance, to pick up a new textbook. You could be entering a new level of maturation that still requires you to adapt to certain advances in your field, technological advances, restructuring within an organization, for example, which might force you to pick up the pace and learn how to do things from a fresh new perspective. You might find yourself struggling with this at first and also at the very end of the month, where you go back to feeling like you might be lagging behind, perhaps because you could be asked to compete against a certain younger crowd. But what helps is reminding yourself that you have the kind of wisdom that others may lack. So even if you're put in a situation where you might find yourself at a disadvantage to learn things as quickly, where your learning curve might be slowing down now. Let's say if we're talking about your age, while others seem to be picking things up rather quickly because they are still very much eager to learn and still have a lot of capacity to learn. That might be why it feels like it's a burden on your shoulders. It feels like you really have to push more for this sort of thing to happen here. But what's wonderful is that it can also have a youthful effect on you. So you still realize that you have what it takes. You still see your potential. You feel that the young person within you never really went away, and you may adapt to this Aquarian energy here of the Fool card, which very much reminds you perhaps of days when you were young, when you still had quite a lot to learn, when you did not have as many layers on you. This card is essentially very opposite to this card here, because the Fool is always willing to go on a new adventure and is up for learning everything that comes across his path, basically. The Fool, when he practices his energy very well, transitions on to this Magician here and feels like he has all the power he needs to excel and can work with every element. So the world is your oyster here, and that's quite a wonderful feeling to and energy to basically take over the center of your reading. And so this is energy that's it's bursting out and feeding the rest of the cards here. This is energy that also comes down from the Empress, which is a lot more evolved and mature and knows what it's like to be the magician as well in her own way. When you get like this, when you start to feel powerful, knowledge is power, and it's also the way that you study and the way that you learn that influences how much knowledge you acquire, which then therefore influences how much power you can have. When you start to feel that way, you become grateful. You become grateful that you still have what it takes to learn and evolve, that you realize that age is just a number, and as long as you have the drive, then you can continue to give back. So what's beautiful about Sagittarius is that when you are in the best mood that way, then you want to share your experience with the world around you. You want to give the knowledge that you have to others as well, and you do so very serendipitously, almost like a magician. And actually, Sagittarius, you are the magician. To me, you are the magicians of the zodiac. When you aim for something, you shoot and you hit that target bullseye for sure. So your spirits are lifted and you feel more giving. You want to give. You want to celebrate with your friends and family, your successes with them. Sagittarius never keeps their success to themselves. Sagittarius wants to share their success with the world around them. In fact, the success is not a success unless they share it with the ones that they love. How beautiful is that? Towards the end of the month, though, you might be reminded of something rather unfortunate, though. Bear with me here. With all good hearts and this kind-natured soul that you have here, that you want to share and express your achievements with those around you, your optimism for life, this youthful drive within you that never ceases. You may come across a few envious people here who want to know what your secret is to staying young, what your secret is to feeling as vibrant as you do. So you may receive some personal attacks that way, coming from rather younger people here, who may view you as some sort of a threat. You might get thrown off your game a little bit then, or think that you're a little bit in over your head here, but the key is to trust your gut. Definitely trust your gut. If you're not so sure if you're in good company, you need to trust your gut. When this Two of Swords comes out in the reverse, and it rarely does, by the way, it really, really rarely does. This card tells me that there is someone in your environment who you cannot trust. Someone who is manipulative enough that they can almost get away with their tactics and their schemes. But as long as the only way that you can catch this person is by trusting your gut here. And rest assured that this person gets caught eventually. They may be very, very unexpecting as well. So they might not have the characteristics of someone who would engage in such deviant behavior towards you. They could be someone as well who used to look up to you, but now feels threatened or intimidated by your presence, perhaps because they feel like you have an ulterior motive to want to learn and excel. This Two of Swords, though, needs to be dealt with before it accelerates into something a lot more serious. Right now, this Two of Swords is it's being fed energy from these two pages here. So this energy still hasn't fully matured itself at all. And it can be dealt with at an early stage. You're not dealing with powerful figures here who can really do anything about it. It's just that they can go undetected because their presence may not be made very clear to you. They may be operating under the table. These may be people that you should be able to trust. But in essence, they're right under your nose. This is someone who tries to prevent you from learning things further, tries to put a damper on you, or tries to call you out when it comes to your habit of giving, they might present themselves as someone who's rather needy, someone who wants to take advantage of this energy that you are exuding midway through the month. So they might present themselves as someone who needs your help, needs your advice, needs your guidance. Someone as casual who just comes up to you and says like, hey, so seems like you've got the hang of things when it comes to whatever it is, A, B, C. I was wondering if you could help me out here, and you being the kind who wants to help someone out. You're like none the wiser, where you're just like, yeah, of course. How can I help you? What can I do for you? And it turns out in the end that perhaps this person doesn't have very good intentions. Here. It could be. This can drive you a little bit crazy. It's paranoia. Or it can be that, again, this person feels threatened that you're trying to go for a promotion they're going for, or you're moving so far up the corporate ladder that you're in the running to be their boss, their supervisor, somewhat of an immediate superior, or they might be so paranoid that they think you're trying to replace them or their jobs. This is the feeling that I'm getting here. This can happen when some people could view you as a power tripper, and no judgment there at all. It's just that Sagittarius has such a large personality. So when you're proud of your achievements, and you should be proud of your achievements naturally, and you want to share, there will be several kinds of people, and their reactions will be different, correct? There will be those who are very happy for you, and their happiness will be genuine. They will come and they will congratulate you, and it will be from their hearts. Then there will be those who observe you from a distance and may find that your huge personality gets on their nerves, where they're like, when is this person going to stop bragging about their successes? Day in, day out, every day. This is getting a little bit old. And you're thinking, well, but I'm just being myself here. I'm truly happy to, come into this new knowledge. And what better way to practice this new skill than to share it with my colleagues, for example. So you're not doing anything wrong. It's just that you might be pressing some people's buttons the wrong way. And then there will be those who are a bit more malicious, who view you as an immediate threat and feel the need to handle things themselves, and they feel the need to go for an intervention that's rather sly, very atypical, and they approach you perhaps in a way that will be unsuspecting. At the end of the day, though, you will prevail. With such energies on your side, like the Fool, the Magician, the Empress, this Wheel of Fortune, you will prevail. In comparison to this Page of Swords and this Page of Pentacles that's in the reverse here, like I said, this is energy that is still very immature and needs to evolve before it becomes harder for you to handle. But yeah. That's pretty much it, Sagittarius. If you'd like to add anything to this reading, if you have any speculations about any of the cards, feel free to leave a comment. As usual, Your likes are very much appreciated. Your presence here is appreciated. I love you guys for all your support. Thank you so much for your emails and simply just being involved in this channel. I will be coming back very, very soon with a personal update. And otherwise, I wish you the best month of May, and I will come back next month with your monthly reading, of course. In the meanwhile, take good care of yourself, Sagis. Bye.